Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Beer Guys Radio. We are live. It's hot in the studio.
It is.
We've
So
got
hot
some
in here.
cold beer. We've got the AC is not seeing the A.
It is not seeing any A anywhere
right now. But we're going to talk with Cosimo, Original 40 Brewing Company. Cosimo, how are you?
Very, very, very well. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good deal, man. We're going to go live here. If you're watching the live stream and you have questions or comments, please do leave them in the chat. And we'll be back in just a little bit to catch up with you.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio, dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio Studios. And this week, we're talking with the Original 40 Brewing Company. I'm Tim Dennis, and with me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Brian Hewitt.
Hey, Tim. So joining us today, we have Cosimo Sorrentino, the brewer for the Original 40 Brewing Company. We're going to talk about brewing beer around the world and around the country, crispy boys, IPAs, a special release stout, and a medal-winning beer or two. Cosimo, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Ready to talk beer.
Talking beer. We enjoy doing that.
Yes.
We do enjoy that. Right now, we're drinking a beer, and I figure the label, I enjoy the label. Very, very Urkel. Very Urkel there. So
it is a
gotta pay homage.
Yeah, we're drinking Czech to Czech. That's CHECK to CZECH there.
I enjoy the pun as well.
Yeah, and this way
live in Czech to Czech.
Live in Czech to Czech. And this
like every brewer.
Yeah.
Every brewer, right? That's it. What do they say? If you want to get into brewing and be a millionaire, start with 3 million. They went up from 2
I thought it was
million.
like 10. Oh, that's the cigar industry. You want to be a millionaire in the cigar industry, start with 10.
Start with 10.
In beer, I think it's probably 3 to 5 million.
Yeah.
So.
Used to be say start with 2, but inflation got that. So
yeah, indeed.
But Cosmo, thanks so much, man. We appreciate you joining us from beautiful San Diego, California.
Absolutely.
So, nice. How is it out there? Is it scorching out there yet? Because we're getting good and warm here in Atlanta.
That's relative for us. There's been some hot days. It's been touching 80 and like 30% humidity. So that's that's definitely rough on us. You know, I'm putting on flip-flops when I'm taking my boots off, but nothing like where I'm going.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're going to get the heat there. Austin, Texas. Yeah. We'll cover that a little bit later in the show.
Fair.
But I got a lot of friends in San Diego, and whether it's winter or summer, I'm always jealous of them because either way, they're more pleasant in the other direction. So
it's amazing.
Yeah,
I grew up here. I know. I completely agree with why people pay the rents they do here.
Oh, it's nuts. I was there for vacation many years ago, and was staying on a little what do they call it? Resort area.
Oh yeah.
And went to do some laundry before heading home, so I didn't take a bunch of dirty laundry home. And I'm in the laundry room, and the TV shows an ad for a new housing development, and it's like, did you think the dream of home ownership was beyond your reach? It's like now you can get 2-bedroom homes starting at only $349,000. And at the time, a home like that here in Atlanta was about 170, 150, 170. And I'm like, wait, what did they just say?
They're probably much higher than that now.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. No doubt.
You can't get a 1-bedroom condo for that anymore in North Park. Yeah.
Crazy. We are into May here.
Yes.
On the calendar, as it works that way. And Maybach, is it Maybach or Maybach, Cosmo?
I've always called them Maybach.
Maybach.
I have not been in Germany during that season, though.
All right,
that's sure.
That's what I wondered. I've always called it that as well.
I'm guessing it's with the strong I because of when you have two vowels together, you pronounce the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did a little German in
college,
right?
Yeah. Then enough to probably get myself in trouble or laughed at. So yeah.
Right.
Or order a beer, as it turns out.
Which is really all you need to know.
So that would be my guess, Maybach.
But are you a fan of the Maybach, Cosmo?
Absolutely. I'm a fan of clean beer flavored beer, and if it's got a little extra punch to it for the season, I'm definitely okay with that.
I'm down with that. I
I'm on board
haven't
with them.
explored any of our local offerings yet because Maibach does look like one that most of your craft brewers, it doesn't hit distro because it is, a quick seasonal there. But I bet if you check your local breweries, you're going to find a few.
Good chance of it. And I don't know if it's the official thing, but on the BJCP website I'm looking at it, they group Maibach in with Hellesbach. So
Okay.
you might see, if you don't see it called Maibach, you might see something Hellesbach, and it'll be very similar to that, apparently.
I gotcha.
So I'm no expert on that particular style.
Me either.
I'll admit to it.
I'm not either. And that's what I was going to actually ask. Cosmo, what makes a perfect Maibach?
Well, the one that's most memorable to me, I worked for a German brewer when I was in Denmark, and he brought one in, and he pretty much told me that to them, Maibach is like Pliny is to us.
Okay.
It's that strong beer that you can have that doesn't feel like a strong beer and gets you in trouble real quick. So I think it's just that super clean, familiar profile, and then a little ramped up on the alcohol. But if you do it just right, you shouldn't know that until you stand up and you realize it.
Then you feel it.
That checks out with the BJCP website. They say the range for Maibach is 6.3% to 7.4%, and I probably wouldn't have guessed that just based on the name
up there.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because with the way we play with ABVs here in America, 6 to 7 doesn't even sound, that terribly strong for me. But like this beer we're drinking right now, it's 4.8. And you see a lot, those 4.2, 4.3, 4.8 hitting that 5 there. So I guess for those German styles, a 6 to 7 is a pretty darn strong beer, right?
Definitely. And using the technology they had and yeasts and not having everything, these styles are still done pretty traditionally. So to be able to do that with what they had to work with, that's pretty big.
It's important to keep in mind that the IPA, once upon a time, 5.5%, 5.8% was pretty common. It's only recently that we're starting to get up in the 7%, so, and that be kind of average or normal.
The average,
It's creeped up a considerable amount.
6 to 7 to 10, doubles and triples.
Oh yeah, well, that's all bets are off for those.
Yeah, just totally.
Yes. Well, Tim, it's time for the beers of the week.
Brian, as always, great list of beers to get into, and thank you to our friends at the Nest. Go enjoy that patio while you can at the Nest in Kennesaw, Georgia, because it's not going to be comfortable much longer. They do have fans out there.
They
Brian.
got fans.
They got big heaters for the winter. They got fans for the summer. They have TV. They have smoked wings and barbecue and craft beer. So go check out the Nest in Kennesaw, Georgia. This week on the show, we're going to drink through as many of these as we can. Cosmo, thank you. You sent us a very fantastic beer selection. We're really excited to drink through these. We are right now, as we mentioned, drinking the Check to Check Bohemian Pilsner, which is extremely tasty. Is this one Tachi? Is that the way that's pronounced, Cosmo?
Yes, exactly. Absolutely.
So we've got Tachi, which is going to be a Japanese lager. We have Cloud Noises, Brian.
Cloud noises.
Clouds made some noises by me last night. Cloud Noises, DDH Hazy IPA, Snap Crackle Hop, which is a West Coast IPA with rice. Brian, I bet you're excited.
I am, yes.
To get up into that. Ashes from the Grave, which is a smoked brown ale. Another one, I bet, Brian.
Oh, yes.
Smoke and West Coast.
Yep.
And then Rafiki's Ritual, an Imperial Stout. So we've got a good variety to get into, and it does not jive with beer Twitter's ranting of everything being an IPA.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, not everything is an IPA.
Of all of it. So yeah, looking forward to get into all of those. Brian, what's happening in the news?
All right, Tim. So I'm a fan of weird beer news, and this odd news might help out some homebrewers out there looking to get some opinions on their beer. It seems your facial expression can reveal the kind of beers you like, at least according to a study done by Japanese brewery Asahi. Apparently, they had a real problem with testers of their new beverages lying about whether or not they actually liked the beer they were testing. So they were being too charitable, not wanting to get fired. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but that's kind of a problem. So they recorded the facial expression of 151 people while they were tasting 3 types of beer, but they needed some sort of judgment call on the part of the participants to, compare the expressions to. So they asked them ingeniously, how many of each beer can would they like to take home? You can have between 1 and 10. So obviously that's the more cans you want, the more you like the beer. What they learned is that people tend to suck their lips when they enjoy a beer, a bit like saying silently, and they tend to squeeze or purse their lips when they didn't care for the beer. So there you go. Anybody who has a beer out there or home brew that you want to find out if somebody's really lying to you, watch their lips while they're drinking.
See, that's tricky because as a home brewer, everybody likes free beer, Brian.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're sharing your beer, now you got to start watching people's faces. You're going to bring some science in.
Yeah.
To find
out. I love it, but they grimace. So like,
Cosmo can use that in the brewery too. Yeah. Staring you dead in the. Are you staring at my lips? Yes, I am.
My eyes are up here.
You can't lie to me. You can't lie to me.
All right. So we've heard stories about bottle bombs, but now there's a case of a beer bottle starting a $700,000 house fire. It apparently happened in the Boston area. That sun shining through the beer bottle on the second floor of a deck for 5 hours is enough to set a deck ablaze, or at least some burnable material on a deck. So now we've heard it all.
It'll happen. You're listening to the Beer Guys radio show. We need to take a break, but we'll be right back with the Original 40 Brewing Company.
Clear bottles, possibly a Corona bottle or something like that.
Get a little reflection there.
Yeah, because I don't think you're going to get that kind of heat through a brown bottle. They didn't say in the article though. So
guess it all depends on how things got reflected there. And, reflected the light, prismatics, and all of that.
The fire marshal there says he's heard about stuff like that happening, but it's always been with like mirrors or something else.
Yeah,
it's never been with a beer bottle that he's ever seen before. But like $700,000 because they didn't clean up their party mess on the deck.
Happens. I saw something that it was either Chicago or New York City, where they built a new skyscraper and it had mirrored panels on it, and in a certain time of the day, it reflected, and there was a car that had I guess like a fiberglass or vinyl panels. Anyhow, it melted like the bumper off of a car from this reflection off of this building. It like melted the bumper off a car.
I've heard that so some of the solar panels on roofs and whatnot actually mess with people flying too, because you get the right angle. You get blasted with that reflection.
Shooting a laser beam up at somebody.
That's something they're probably they may have already worked out some of the issues with that, but if not, they're gonna have to work out issues with that. But yeah, those reflections can be rough. You know?
Keep that in mind if you're flying into Austin. Don't look down at solar beams.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I'll keep away from the Tesla mega factory.
There you go. Yeah.
Bring a little mirror with you and reflect it back at them. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Troublesome.
All right. So where are we going next beer wise? We keeping it light?
I think that's probably where we go from here, right?
I'd probably do Tachi, then Snap, then Cloud, then Ashes.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we could do the smoke before the IPA or the hops before the smoke, kind of your call. But
all right.
Yeah.
I'm ready for whatever. I guess it depends on how intense that smoke is.
It's balanced, but it's there. It's over 20% of the grist.
Okay. Decent amount there.
Yeah.
I forget the brewery name, but Bill Cherry. What brewery was that, Brian?
Was it Switchback? Was that
Switchback?
Yeah.
Switchback.
I was just thinking of that. And he was using
Vermont.
Wasn't he using 40% at one point?
Well,
how much can you use? I'm like 40.
We had kind of a fun show with him, Cosmo. We got on and he did everything from like a 2 or 3%, but he sent us this little guide of which beer and which percent, and really tried to kind of run the gamut of smoke level in these beers. And so it was, I've been historically a smoke hater, for smoked beers, but I found some that I still don't care for it if it's a very strong note, not really my thing, but there's certain beers that it definitely lends a little bit of smokiness is really nice.
He did an excellent job with that. I think his whole point was he treats it like a
flavor,
in a palette of flavors instead of the thing. You just like
a flavor instead of the flavor.
Yeah,
this is smoked. Boom.
Yeah, we'll add some smoke, but we won't add a ton of smoke to it. So remains to be seen.
Yeah,
what we think.
That's nice.
Of that smoked beer coming up.
Cool. All right. Cosmo, we're going to go back in here, get back on this.
Ready to go.
Perfect.
All right.
Definitely starting to feel the loose in the back of the neck. This beer's going down.
There you go. There we go. Yes.
Was mostly showered. Did all the barrel age bottling today of the variants. So a very sticky day. So happy to
Fun,
be drinking
yeah.
a lager.
Hot and sticky bottling days. It happens. Nate, take it ready, man. Let's do it.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Remember, all episodes are available on demand, so if you missed the broadcast, get the podcast. Beer Guys Radio is available on the Podcast Park and all popular and unpopular podcasting apps. Now let's get back to the Original 40 Brewing Company.
The Original 40 Brewing Company. Cosmo, that name, that is an
Yes.
interesting name for a brewery. There's got to be a story there. So why the Original 40 Brewing Company?
So we are in North Park, San Diego, which is the neighborhood that I was born in and have been around for the last 40 years. And it started as a 40-acre citrus grove, and we are within that area. So it's a little bit of an homage and a nod to that.
That's cool. I've talked to a few breweries that have kind of taken geographical names, and it's fun to find out stuff that I didn't even know.
So it turns out I was looking around on that just out of curiosity, and I guess the whole citrus growth thing didn't go too well in that area. Was it
really?
like lemons or something? They didn't grow well at all. They just said, you know what, this whole citrus thing isn't working here. We'll just try parceling out the land.
Yep, and then it really boomed with the war, with World War II. The naval hospital is right across from us, and so there was a lot of military housing and a lot of housing put in to support that.
Okay,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So
So forget this citrus.
Yeah.
Are these even lemons?
Yeah, it's like these lemons are terrible.
Well, Cosmo, we've moved on to another beer. We are on to Tachi now, and this is a Japanese lager. I'm assuming good little dose of rice in this one, correct?
Good little dose of rice. I didn't have any sriracha on hand, so I used Styrian Cilia, and just really nice citrus lemon. Speaking of citrus and lemons, coming out of this one on top of the other noble characteristics. But really trying to get some of the ABVs lower, work on maintaining the body and the balance and the flavor, but making beers that you can have 3, 4, or more of throughout a day, especially with the weather getting warmer.
Yeah, that's we're drinking more and more of them. We've talked about this several times, but if there's a really good stout around and it's 100 degrees out, I'm not going to say no, but it's not going to be my first choice. You know, if someone's sharing it, I'm going to go for more of these drinkable beers. Brian brought in a bucket of ice and a laser thermometer and stuff to make sure his beer was cold enough today.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I have a local beer that has a recommended serving temperature on the can, and I was trying to hit it 38 degrees. I've got an old fridge. My old fridge struggles to get stuff down to that level, and I pulled it out of the ice, and it was still like 42 degrees. I'm like, I didn't quite nail it.
So close.
But in this particular case, it's a Sweetwater beer. It does drink better cold, I think, because I had it warmer before. So,
you know, that brings up an interesting topic, kind of a hot topic right now, Cosmo. The cold IPA. What are your thoughts on the cold IPA?
I have a real issue with IPA as a term in general. I think it's overused. It has very little reference to what the actual beer is. It's a marketing tool, and that's kind of the epitome of it. It's like going back to the days about joking about Texas laws and different Southern laws where you had to put lager or ale on the beer no matter what it was, even though it wasn't actually that beer. So to skip calling it an IPL, which is a whole nother, kind of thing in itself, to call it a cold IPA just even brings it further from what it is. And I understand trying to get beer to people and get it in their hand and get it on their palate, and then they get to decide whether they like it or not. But it does really make it tough on bartenders and retailers and brewers when some of these not so subtle parts and terms in brewing become confusing because we kind of just give in to the consumer instead of educating them.
Yeah, and that's, you mentioned IPL, and We've again talked about it several times on the show. Founders Backstage Series, they put out Dissenter IPL in a 750. That's been 7-8 years ago now,
Yeah,
Brian.
it's been forever ago.
But it was the first Founders Backstage beer that gathered dust on the shelves. You know, people were not touching an IPL. So then they moved on, and you had Hoppy Lager, you know, and people were a little more receptive to that. Then we go cold IPA. And one of my favorite things to do, no matter my opinion on it, is to argue with people over the existence of cold IPA compared to IPL, and to make memes mocking that it's the same thing.
It's smoke and mirrors, people.
Yeah, but that's it. Just a good
The
time.
other thing on cold IPAs, and I had this discussion last week with another brewer, is that I've never had a cold IPA, IPL, whatever you want to say, where I would prefer that the brewer use those hops in a lager as opposed to an ale. I enjoy them, but I'd rather use them in an ale. And coming from a place where I have limited capacity and lines and all of that, if I'm going to use those hops, I'm going to put them in an ale.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm guessing that answers my question. Have you ever brewed one or tried to brew something close to that?
Absolutely. I have, and I'm always willing to try something once and brew something once. And I love to be challenged and, you know, to be told I can't do something or think that I can't do something and prove that wrong. But in the end, that's the conclusion that I've come to personally with it.
An imperial coffee stout and call it a long boil adjunct cold dark IPA.
A cold dark IPA.
Yeah,
it's a cold black IPA.
Yeah, not black. I'm gonna specifically use dark.
Okay.
Since black IPA is already a thing.
Oh, that's true. You have to pick a different term. Yes.
Yeah. So that's it. So look out for that.
Oh no.
The opposite of a blonde stout. Now we have a dark. Yeah.
So that's it. It's gonna, you know what? It's gonna be a dark blonde stout. We're gonna bring it all together.
Blonde stout.
So, yeah.
I wonder if Dissenter came out now, would people, because people are much more in the craft world, much more into lagers. I wonder if it would be a completely different story.
No.
If it would take off.
I don't think so. People still don't go for IPL. Do you see that, Cosmo? That people still IPL just doesn't sell, does it? Yeah.
No. And the thing is IPA is its own term. A lot of people don't even know what those words mean, because if you do say black IPA, then you're creating an oxymoron just in that name. So it's just, you know, how many people come in and order an IPA or whatever it may be. It's just, that's the term, and it doesn't really mean anything other than whatever their favorite experience is with it. I mean, the fact that you can have a 3% super clear, crisp session IPA up through a 7% fruited vanilla milkshake hazy IPA to a 16% quadruple IPA. Those are all not related to each other. So it just becomes too universal of a term.
The quadruple IPA, tell me more.
I've had hop wines, quadruple IPAs.
Yeah.
Hop wine. I'm intrigued by this. Yeah. But I tend to agree with you. Calling that an IPA seems a little misleading.
Yeah. It's like, what is that show? Whose Line Is It Anyway? Where he's like, hey, everything's made up and nothing matters.
The ABV doesn't matter.
The ABV doesn't matter. So. Well, Cosmo, your background, you've been a little bit of everywhere, I think. Did some European traveling and brewing. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Tell us about your adventures. What took you to Europe for brewing? And tell us a little bit about that.
I originally went out to open a brewery with a high-end restaurant in Copenhagen, Denmark. Got out there, worked on that project for about 6 months, and classic story, got out, thought things were moving, thought we were like 8-10 months away from brewing. As things progressed, the lease wasn't signed, the equipment wasn't ordered. There was a couple other businesses that were sharing the space, and it ended up being a 1.5 to 2 year timeline. So as I was packing my bags to go home, I got offered a job running the brew pub for Toul in Copenhagen while they were building their production facility just outside of the town. So was able to work with them for just over 2 years, travel all around Europe, do collaborations, run their development program, and help them design the production facility. And then when they were opening that up, my lease was up on my house and everything, and ended up coming home, luckily, right before the pandemic started. but got to work with them, and they're now arguably the largest, one of the more influential breweries in Europe. They're doing contract brewing for McKellar as well as several other people. They've got a 250,000 square foot facility on almost 50 acres, own water treatment plant, orchards, cidery, craft makers, distillery, everything going on. So really, really beautiful company.
Sounds awesome. We're going to continue this conversation in just a minute. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, and we'll be right back with more from the Original 40 Brewing Company.
So one of the things I was hoping would happen during this show is that he would pronounce the name of the brewery, because I've seen it spelled. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it.
Tool.
Tool.
So it's two words. So to is
To.
two. To. Like you kind of got to make that hollow in your mouth. And I'm not even great at it. Like they and then ul is beer. So
to beer.
It actually means two beers. But the owners, both of their names started with TO, Tobias and Tor.
All right.
And so that was kind of the play on it and everything. But yeah, if you look it up and you're there in Google Translate, automatically it'll be called Two Beers on your app.
Seen any of their stuff in quite a while. I wonder if they were part of the Shelton
brothers.
downfall.
I think that may well have been, because I used to see it and I liked what I found of it. It would be kind of hit and miss, a little bit intermittent
thing
here and
is,
there. Yeah,
it was all contract until we opened the production facility in 2019. So I think they pulled back at that point, because really it went from contract brewing it to proof, where McKellar makes their stuff and all of that, and we wouldn't even get it until it was 3 to 4 months old. And everything was pasteurized and bottled to have 2-year stable shelf life, and it just really wasn't craft beer the way that I see it. So we had a lot of discussions about cold chain and all of that, and so I think that they pulled back to maintain the quality.
That makes sense. I think everything that I had from them was probably something you could sit on for 2 years, which would be mostly big stouts, maybe barley ones. I don't recall it because it has been a few years, but I always like that. It's like, hey, they get the /0, like the I don't know. I've seen that written as like nothing. You know, this is not the second one has a slash. Slash through it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the umlaut thing. It's got its own little accent mouth position, but
Cosmo,
I couldn't pick up Danish.
Yeah,
Snap, Crackle, Hop. The next place to go from here, you think?
There we go. I got.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll get that one open.
Sounds like a winner.
You're live.
You know, we probably won't get a chance to go back to it, so I'll just ask. With the it's a Japanese lager. What makes it a Japanese lager? Is it just it's more than rice, or is it's mostly just, hey, this is a rice lager?
It's mostly rice. I mean, the nod to Sriracha Ace, it should be kind of in that realm of aromatics and balance. But yeah, mostly the rice.
This one's good. I dig that. I may like this.
You want some more of it?
Cosmo, I may like this. Oh, that's not what I'm on yet. I'm still sipping Tachi.
Oh, yeah, Tachi's good. Tachi's
I may
tasty.
dig this one a little more than Check to Check.
Fair.
I may like this profile just a little bit more. Really clean.
It was
really good.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I very much enjoy that. Makes me think I need to enjoy some of the next time I get to a place that's serving Japanese beer. I need to pick up some, because that was really refreshing. It's really enjoyable.
We've got, I don't think, Hop Sticks. What nationality is
I think he might be Indonesian.
Okay,
I think so.
All right,
I think he is.
But it's a Robata and Raw Bar and Grill and Brew Pub, and so he does. Of course, he's got, what's his rice like? What's it called? His rice lager?
It's
Rice and Shine.
Rice and Shine.
Rice and
that's
Shine.
it.
But
great name.
So you can go in there and get sushi or the Robata Grill or some miso ramen or what have you, and
good
get
stuff.
fresh brewed beer there. It's good.
To be precise, I think I should probably say he's Chinese Indonesian because like Malaysia, I believe they have Indians, they've got Chinese, and they've got the indigenous folks. So to be completely accurate and fair to him, I believe he's Chinese.
Off topic, but have you been to Andy's new restaurant?
I haven't, no.
Okay. All right. We'll have to check that out sometime. Have you been to Atlanta, Cosmo? Have you experienced our beer scene?
I have not, but I need to get down there and visit Mitch Steele and check it all out.
Yeah.
So
the last 5 to 7 years have been just game changer for us. So it's we passed some beer laws that made things a little more friendly. And I keep on our website, I keep a map of all breweries, brew pubs, cideries, and meaderies in the state. And I think we're no San Diego or California, but we're up to like 190 now. Nice. But in 2018, we were at like 85. So, in 4 years, we've more than doubled. So it's
I was gonna you spoiled it. I was gonna say you'd be jealous when you come over here and visit.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think you will, having been in San Diego, honestly, but
no,
we're doing all right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love new scenes, and I love when they hit that critical mass and everybody starts sharing information and quality goes up.
That's definitely happening.
And we do have some world-class beer bars.
We do.
We've got some really great beer bars. So
we've got some places that are unquestionably good, and those guys are getting invited all across the country to go to beer fest because people are aware that these guys are doing good things. Good Word, Halfway Crooks, those folks are getting invited everywhere, and Mitch Steele is always going to go everywhere under the sun too. So
Joran Van Ginterachter owns Halfway Crooks, and Joran. I think he lost me there as I was telling you.
No, I got you. You're on. Yeah.
Did you hear that? Yeah, he's Peter Buchart's nephew, and so got the lineage there going. But he started over here with a brewery called Three Taverns and did great things with them. And then he opened up, and he focuses on classic stock, mostly classic lagers, but he'll throw in like a lower ABV clean IPA every now and then. But we just went a couple weeks ago. He did a Kolsch service in the beer garden. Just sitting down there with the Kolsch service.
You can't beat the Kolsch service. That's I predict that's eventually going to take off, and I don't know how long it's going to take. I think just people need to be aware it's a thing. But is there anything better than Kolsch service? It's awesome.
No,
it's like a special
beer all the time.
It's a special event over here. I'm like, this could be every time you go. Of event. I mean, honestly,
that's what I'm doing at my next birthday party. I'm just going to get someone to do a Kolsch service for us, and we'll have.
You know what?
We'll grill and we'll do a Kolsch service.
Get a keg. Get somebody to just run around with the cool little serving tray and the little. Are they 20 centiliters?
I think it's 20 centiliters. Is that right? In the for the little
20 sounds right.
Like I think.
Yeah. Get the special. I love that they even have the special glassware tote for it. It's its own like tin thing that just all about convenience, just for bringing beers around, only for Kolsch service. So
German efficiency, you can't beat it.
Yeah, right. Good stuff. Awesome. Well, let's get back to it, Nate. Whenever you're ready, rock and roll.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our great radio affiliates, KVTA News Talk 1590 AM and 97.9 FM in Ventura, California. Catch Beer Guys Radio on KVTA every Saturday at 12 a.m. Now let's get back to the original 40 Brewing Company.
Cosmo, San Diego, there's a little bit of beer there from what we hear. And there's always breweries that, people know in the area. L-Smith, people know L-Smith and the other big brewers down there. Oh, I was recently introduced to your brewery, so new one for me, the original 40. What would be yours if someone comes to San Diego and they want to get the great beer that is not the stuff that everybody knows about? Where do you go when you're not at your brewery?
I go to Tap Room. It's another brew pub right across the neighborhood from us. That's got a great lineup of house-made beers as well as guest beers. They just got a new brewer. They just traded out Bill Batten, who I make Ashes from the Grave with that we'll try later. for Dan Cady, who came from McKellar. He was their barrel and sour beer specialist for the last 6 years. So he's been able to kind of let all of his creative energy go on all the other types of beers. So he's got a Graditsky on, he's got an English mild on, he's got a few lagers. So great diversity, food-friendly beers. If you're looking to go not in the hype range, but enjoying something a little bit more bigger ABV, some adjuncts, that kind of thing, North Park beer is great. Kelsey's making great things. But my favorite brewery in San Diego is Pizza Port.
Pizza Port.
And I know
of
it's
course.
widely distributed, but going
Yeah.
to the individual Pizza Ports, especially the one in Ocean Beach, they have their own, little profile at each place. They'll have a couple of beers from the other pubs on at each pub, as well as their production stuff and guest beers. And the vibe there, being right across the bar, 5 feet from the brew system, all of that, you can't beat it. And it's one of the places that made me fall in love with the industry.
That's
Very
pretty
cool.
awesome. That's good stuff.
So once people have done that and they're heading over to the original 40, what beer should they get acquainted with you guys with? What beer would you start them off with?
I would say any of the lagers. I always tell people, and I do the same thing when I walk into the place, I will choose the lightest beer on the board, and that's how I kind of set my benchmark of what they do well or where there might be issues, and then kind of order accordingly. I like to say that drinking a Pilsner is like, or making a Pilsner is like walking down the beach in a Speedo. Either you should or you shouldn't, and right away.
yeah.
So,
You know.
if I drink a Pilsner and it's clean, I'll go for anything on the board that I think I'll like. Otherwise, I might be drinking browns and porters and some stuff that has a little bit more character in
Stuff with adjuncts
Something
to
can
cover up
hide,
flaws.
something that can do a little bit of hiding there. Sure enough.
Yeah.
So what would
So.
The people that are picking up your stuff, around town, what are you known for? What are people buying typically from you?
To be honest, our flagship is Juice Maze. It's a hazy
Okay.
IPA. It's about 40% of our production, and that goes to a lot of our permanent handle accounts. And of course, it's a big seller in the tap room as well. It's a great recipe left to me from the brewer before that I kind of evolved a bit and brought some different techniques into. And we really try to ride the line between having that full juicy body, but having enough bitterness that it still is balanced. And so kind of a tweener beer, if I could say so, even though it's a 4.5 Plato finishing hazy. So that's what we're most known for, but I've tried to evolve that, and I just love brew pubs, and I love getting somebody into the facility and having them experience as a whole, not just the beer. So we distribute. Mostly that is a brand awareness thing, and a bit of a loss leader for us, just to show off the quality and get people in the door.
Yeah, unless you can really package large scale, you're not making a ton of money distributing packaged beer there. So marketing.
It's interesting
Marketing
putting beer
expense,
into distribution as kind of advertisement or a reminder
Sure.
of like, hey, don't forget us. We got
Yeah,
some good
we're
beer.
here.
Yeah.
You grab it at the store, you see it somewhere else.
It's like, oh
enjoy it,
yeah, I
you're
haven't been
like,
over there in a
yeah,
while. I need to go over there.
That's
I'd rather get
right.
it fresh at the brewery, which is what crosses my mind every time I see a Sweetwater 420 or an IPA, especially the IPA. I'm like, ooh, I'd like to go back to the brewery and have that directly from them.
It's always
and
good to get it. Yeah, Cosmo. It's
No, yeah, you
Get
take
'em
the
fresh,
family, and on a
right?
Saturday, like you
Yeah.
go, you do the thing, and that's where, I want to say we make it back, but more just the goal, to get people in and get in the real experience.
Indeed. So what is it we're drinking today? We got
some
Snap,
crackle,
and
hop here, Brian. We're going West Coast.
and that one also has rice in it, right? Is that a riced one?
It does, kind of with the season, with the springtime. It wasn't planned this way. We actually came up with this beer in the fall when we were doing the collab at Viewpoint. This is a collaboration beer with Viewpoint Brewing Company, another amazing brew pub right next to the horse racing track here in town. And it's right on the coast. It's called Viewpoint because it has the best view, maybe top 5 views of tasting rooms in San Diego. But yeah, came up with this, and originally it was going to be a double IPA, but with the season and just personally wanting to work on lower ABV beers, we brought it back down to a single, put rice in it to lighten the body, but then also added some rye to give it a little character, so that it wasn't just thin underneath the hops. Mashed it a couple degrees higher than normal, so it still has a touch of the body underneath there. And then it's Strata, Amarillo, and Centennial. So a real nice blend of classic old school that we love and some of the new stuff that kind of accentuates and adds to that.
Nice, nice. When it was going to be a dip, was there any thought of putting marshmallow fluff in it?
No, I did that once last year and I'm done.
Done. It's been done. There's
Done.
I had to ask with something
no
like
need
that.
to do it again. Yeah.
No. So no, those beers are great, and there's a market for them and people that enjoy them, but there's plenty of them on the shelves.
There are.
That's it. Yeah, you know what? I enjoy trying them every now and then. You know, it's or not every now and then. Pretty much every chance I get, I'll give it a shot. We had a coconut imperial stout recently. It was just fun. Weldworks.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
stellar. I mean, if someone's going to do it and do it right, they're ones to get it.
You
from.
really can't
Delicious,
go wrong. Yeah. But they make everything else so good too. So
They do.
know, no matter what you're getting, it's
Sure.
going to be good beer.
Yeah.
And there's just different purposes for different beers. I call those beers festival beers. I'll try a 2-ounce sample of them, or if I'm at a beer dinner and it's presented in the appropriate amount with the right pairing and everything works together, awesome. I'm not sitting down and killing a 750 by myself.
Whew, no. Get some Black Tuesday, right?
I won't say I
Yeah.
haven't done
19
that,
too.
but it's not typically what I do. I usually find that I start regretting before the hangover even kicks in. I'm already regretting opening up the 750 of, imperial pastry stout in the 14% range.
Now I got all this sugar and alcohol I still have to finish. I've opened it. I got to finish
At a
it
certain
now.
point, the term cloying comes to mind. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is so much.
I don't remember the exact number, Cosmo, but I looked up one time, curious. One of those big, I mean, it was like an 18 or 19% imperial stout. And I looked up the info, and an 8-ounce serving, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So like
sounds about
a
right.
750 of this is like a 1,600, 2,000 calorie bottle of beer.
100%. Yeah, I mean, the Rafikis that you've got there, a 12-ounce serving of that, I believe, is around 650, 700 calories.
See, there you go, man. It's a meal in a glass.
I'm bulking up, so it'll be fine.
Just a pastry stout for breakfast, a pastry stout for lunch, and a sensible dinner.
Exactly. That's such a great diet plan.
It is the party plan. We're talking about doing the lagers and that. I always like to ask this. I've been asking a lot of people lately because we've got a great lager scene here. Several breweries that specialize in them, and every brewery does one or two. But I was surprised to hear other people saying not so much where they were. Is it big in San Diego? Do you have a good distribution of people doing Pilsners, other lagers?
It's definitely picking up. I think it's one of the silver linings of the pandemic that people had tank space. And I think most of us have always wanted to make these styles, but with production schedules and profitability and all of that, they took too long. They don't sell for as much. They don't gain the hype, but people had free tank space and they wanted to make beers that lasted longer. So I'm seeing a lot of them. We've got 6 on the board right now at OG40. So almost as much as we do on the hoppy side, we have on the lager side. And it's nice to be able to develop a flight and say, yeah, these beers all look the same and they might sound the same, but this one has twice as much residual sugar. This one has more IBUs. This one has a different water profile, and really be able to show people the diversity in the simplicity.
Good stuff. You're listening to the Beer Guys radio show. We got to take us another break, but we will be right back with more from Cosimo Sorrentino and the Original 40 Brewing Company.
Did you say that same thing like last week?
I did. So you put it better than I did by saying silver line. I was like, there were benefits to craft beer from the pandemic, and Brian's like, benefits. I think I said something like beer. There were some good things that it did for beer, and it was the same thing you said there. People had the time to brew lagers. They had the time to get a little more creative and try some things they hadn't tried before, because they had the time and the space to do it.
And you're dealing with people that might be stuck home, possibly unemployed, and so they might be drinking all day. You're unlikely to want to go like 7-8% IPA all day.
Yeah, brewers got that PPP money, man. So
That's
might as
right.
well have the brewery in there brewing something.
So why not have a well-made lager throughout the day? Have something Japanese rice lager you can drink the entire day and not completely hate yourself the next day.
I'm here for it, man. Thank you, COVID-19.
Yeah,
thank you for global pandemic.
Thank you, global pandemic.
Yes,
you're my hero.
It was worth the price paid.
That's right.
Segment 4, going into it. Cosimo, we're getting ready to go in the last segment here. Anything we haven't mentioned you want us to make sure to bring up here?
No, I'm good with it. I mean, I don't know if we have time for 2 more. If you want to just skip to the ashes and not do, or just go quickly through cloud. Ashes is definitely, the kind of the piece de resistance over cloud noises.
All right, let's get both of these out here, and we will hit them both.
So the Rafiki
and then we still
the
got
ashes.
Rafikis as well, right?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, if you want to do Rafiki and ashes instead of and skip the cloud noises, or however you want to do it, but those two. But by far, and I mean, Rafiki's, my boss definitely wants me to show that off. But for me, ashes is this is my heart and soul.
We definitely have to talk about
them
both.
all out here then. So we got ashes, and go ahead and give me some rat. Is it in the other one there?
Yeah. You have, and I don't think we'll get a chance to talk about it. Maybe we will, probably not. You've got yet another beer that's releasing for you guys this week. It's Exit Interview, right? Is that another kind of a send-off beer for you? Yeah.
Yeah. 5.3 West Coast Pale Ale.
Get that ready.
Really nice Simcoe heart with a little bit of Strata in there. Just a real nice drinkable beer to leave them on, and also something that I'll bring quite a few cans with me in my Southwest bag to Austin.
Yeah.
That's the right kind of exit interview. It's like, here, brew this beer. All right, your exit interview is done. I'm like, that's longer than your typical exit interview, but at least you have some beer to drink at the end of it. So I can't say that I've had that for any of my exit interviews.
Guys, if you can excuse me, I'll be right back. We're gonna hit the powder room.
They hit the powder room. He's got to powder his nose. Let's see, what else do we have? We had skipping over. We are skipping over cloud noises. Don't worry, I will drink that and enjoy it. Oh! This is open. I'm gonna some of the ashes from the grave. What's that? A full can?
Yeah, or a full glass of it, because you're the smoke champ here.
Oh. Am I the one lover of smoke in this room?
Yes.
I'm gonna pour half of it, allow everybody to have their chance to
this is a really good ease into smoke beer, because the roast and the caramel just kind of meld with the smoke. It's there, but
sensual.
I find people that don't normally gravitate towards smoke kind of tend to enjoy this one sometimes.
It's not exactly the Schlenker level of smoke. It's really nice. It's really I like it a lot. It remains to be seen what these smoke haters will think of it, but I think it's great.
Thank you.
But the first time I had Schlenker, I'm like, where's this beer been my entire life? I'm like, I love this stuff. It's beautiful.
Bamberg's one of the top 3 places that I missed when I was living in Europe that I really regret.
What did my lips do?
We'll get back to.
What did my lips do when I took a sip of that beer?
Oh, I didn't look. I need to be looking at his. All right, I'll take a sip. Let me see what.
Did they smack or purse?
Yeah, exactly. Was it or? Yeah, they got pretty tight. They got pretty tight. So he's not a fan. He didn't purse them, but those lips got tight, and they nearly ran away from his face. They actually almost ran up over the crown of his head. So that tells you what I think it's. What do you think? Is it? It's pretty solid. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
It's solid. I could only do it.
He could only do a taster. Okay, well, I could drink a whole can of it. So, whole can.
For me, Cos, this is my festival beer.
Gotcha. Hey, I appreciate the attempt, but it's also why I love the art that I get to create. Is that there's so many different palettes, so many different situations, foods, everything that. There's really no holds barred. So
I like the caramel aspect to it. It does have a nice kind of rich sweetness to it to go along with like maybe it's smoke and like a dark chocolate maybe or something like that all together. That's a very enjoyable. I'm a fan. I'm waiting to see. Let's see what Tim thinks.
What?
You got to get you some of this here smoke.
I got a little bit. I haven't drank it.
Oh, you do have some. All right.
But I got a little bit.
A little bit.
We're gonna have to tell Stephen Pete that being at CBC is no excuse
Oh, that's right. He's there
for not joining our live stream.
Steven will never forgive you for this.
Yeah. Cheers to Kettle Rock Brewing.
Cheers from Kettle Rock Brewing.
Got a local brewer that's here for all our live streams, and I was wondering where he was. I was like, that's right. I saw the pic earlier. He was up at CBC.
Every single show, the almost always the first comment is cheers from Kettle Rock Brewing. Yep. Yeah.
Their anniversaries this coming weekend.
Yeah. I think he made a point of, he was excited to watch the show on his birthday too. So he's
great. I absolutely love Stephen Pete. He's in Kettle Rock.
He's our number one fan.
It's fun to have him chime in and hang out with us. Shares what he's brewing with this and talks about the styles, and that's good times, man. Good time.
He'll hear this eventually. I wonder if he'll watch the live stream or if he'll just listen to the podcast. He'll probably watch.
So I'll say this before I even get a sip of it: the aroma on this is really nice. When I pulled it up to my face, the aroma got me. So let's see where we are here. Smells fantastic. Good.
We're watching closely.
Cocoa, like specific, not just chocolate.
Oh, cocoa,
but specifically cocoa. Okay.
Yeah, you really need vanilla with the cocoa to make that chocolate, and leave that out of this.
That's good. You said you're about 20% on the smoke malt.
Yeah, just a little over. It's a blend of cherry wood and beechwood, so it's got that classic campfire smoke. But then the cherry wood's that sweeter, more savory smoke. So yeah, just do 50-50 on those two.
So I think, Nate, will you vouch for me? It looks like he's telling the truth. It did not look like his lips went super tight and pursed.
Were you watching it?
Yes, because we talked about it, and his nearly ran up over the top of his head when he drank it.
The bitter beer face, Keystone.
Yeah, he went all Keystone.
Can I say that? Can I say Keystone? Is there a cease and desist on the way right now?
There could be. This might be really good for us. If there was, somebody should sue us. It would be great.
It'd be great.
Yeah,
marketing, man.
Yeah. Fantastic marketing.
Cheers from CBC and Kettle Rock Brewing.
I wonder if he knew we were talking about him.
Steven, were you on soon enough to hear us talking about you, or were your ears burning there? Because we just said, I said next week I'm going to tell you that being at CBC is no excuse for missing our live stream there. So thanks for dropping in and saying hi. We appreciate it. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. That'd be fun, man. I haven't been to CBC before.
I have
done GABF and a lot of
it seemed like fun. I was kind of following some of the shenanigans on social media, and it seems like everybody's having a good time. Well, it seems like it. I can tell because there's not a lot getting posted, so that means that they're having far too much fun drinking and doing whatever they're doing.
The people that are posting are the boring folks that aren't at CBC. Yeah. And they're not doing the cool stuff. So they're
like me.
So all the posts are going to be lame like yours.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Mine are exciting, and you would be you'd be thrilled to read every single one of them.
Cool. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to get another. Where the glasses go? Did you move them, Nate?
I think you did.
Did you clear
the glassware is over on the counter. Oh, we should get another one for the.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get another one so we can keep it moving along.
Get Rafiki's going on here.
No, we still got cloud noises.
Oh, but we got to get into okay.
All right. We'll do a quick sip and nod.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Okay,
go ahead
since it's open.
Brian.
All right, fine.
Cloud noises. So the smoke does come in a little bit on the tail end for me there, Cosmo. Like finishes on the palate, that smoke's there. But that aroma is just killer.
Ooh, that's nice.
You get the grain, you get the smoke.
You give it the swirl with the hand over the top of the snifter to maximize the aroma
in there. At the time zone, yeah. I just figured you're too busy partying, man. That would be it. That would have been acceptable. Saw a couple of your pictures. Looks like a good time.
Every booth has beers. It's kind of tough to survive a day there.
Yeah.
I thought about that, and I thought I would love to go, but I also thought, well, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. If I went, and I do like beer, people don't realize this about me. I really like
the can for Cloud.
I really do enjoy beer, so I will probably drink them at every single booth I went to, and I would have to. I think I should rent a wheelbarrow beforehand, so when I just get to that point, there's one for me to fall into, and whoever's available can wheel me right out of there. So. How could you resist?
Am I gonna be a wheelbarrow, Nate?
Just
Yeah,
essentially what Uber
wheelbarrow.
Is
does.
this I can't quite read the text, but I'm smelling cashmere here. Am I correct?
Oh, 100%. It's
Okay.
cashmere
Yeah.
and mosaic.
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
like, I think I smell, but I ain't got no glasses, Nate.
Tim, I told you about the iPhone. It's got
The Zoom.
it's got that magnification app on it now for old people.
Old
Blap.
people.
Do that.
Old people and me.
And you got the slider. Old people, especially you. Let me see. I haven't actually used it before.
Do you hear the way they talk about me, Cosmo?
Yeah.
Do you hear the way?
Oh.
he's giving me here?
Look at me zooming in on this stuff. That's
Friendly
exciting.
banter.
I feel like
Yeah.
I'm getting old though. That I'd be excited by
Alright.
zooming in on something
Yeah.
like this. Ooh, it's
I
so
love
We
close.
cash.
we don't normally list the hops on the can.
Okay. Yeah.
I find that it's one of those things where people really like to assume something about a beer
Yeah.
before they drink it, and I just like to start with a clean slate. Like, just try it. We're combining things that work together and do different things, and just because you think Galaxy is the best hop or the worst hop you've ever had, you should still
Yeah.
try the beer and see if you like it.
I do. See, I'm an El Dorado hater.
He is.
Okay.
But I have occasionally had a beer that I like that had El Dorado. I won't turn it down. I may not order a pint, but
Right.
I'm gonna try it out. I'll still give it a shot.
I kind of like El Dorado.
El Dorado hops and salmon. I know I don't care for them, but I'm still gonna give them a shot. So,
Citra, Simcoe, Mosaic, Nelson, and Cashmere. So yes, all three of those on there. Now that I've got my handy dandy zoomer, I can see. Wait, zoomer, is that a
Zoomer, it's
generation
gotta
now?
be.
Is that a
It's
generation? I
gotta
don't
be.
even know. There's people keep naming
boomers and
generations.
zoomers.
People keep having children, so they
That's
keep being
tasty.
more generations, and it's hard to keep track of all of it. Old man yells at clouds. Cloud noises.
That's
So I know that this one does have the hops. This is the first, so this is a rebrew of the first canned beer I ever did at Original 40.
okay.
So
Very
that's how
cool.
those
Good
snuck
stuff.
back on the label. We've kind of phased that out, but I am seeing it now. I didn't even realize when I repackaged it. So
Yeah, small.
I'm
lettering
glad
down
it's
there at
all
the
there,
bottom.
but we definitely upped. Like, it is dominated by Mosaic and Cashmere. That's the
Okay.
hot side,
Yeah.
and over half of the cold side.
And
We
is
did
it good
sprinkle
stuff?
in the Nelson, but yeah, it's all cryo on the Mosaic and Cashmere. So it's really
Well, those are a
really
few
nice.
of my favorite hops. So the Cashmere and the Mosaic.
All right,
like
so
those a
we-
fair deal. So
I've got a good enough taste of these that we can talk about them. So we're going to do, and we will try every beer before we
we still
wrap
got to get
this
that
up.
Rafiki.
I know, but it's open and ready.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and finish off my my smoke. Man, I love the aroma on this. Even just getting up close, it wafts across, and I dig it.
Hey,
It's imagine what it'll taste
Let me
like when you
rinse
drink it.
that. I know. All right, and I'm going to get a pour of Rafiki so we can just get into this. And I'll be ready.
that is a
when we're
festival
ready.
beer. That is definitely.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, motor oil. Yeah.
10W30 here.
I'm gonna.
So I'll
I'm
tell you
gonna
guys
say,
this. I can't really say it publicly. That was brewed by Kyle from Horace. Like, that's a Horace beer.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. All right.
So, but that was
Cool.
before my
That's-
time there, and with stuff we
Ooh-wee.
didn't call it a
'cause-
collaboration. But if you peel that little sticker off,
Look at
or
that.
I might even have a sticker on it on the side, it is actually a collaboration beer.
This is okay. All right. I'm gonna destroy that other beer if I sip that yet. So I'll get to that in a minute.
Fair.
But painting the glass
Oh,
pours like oil, paints the inside of your glass there. So
it smells like
Good stuff.
smells like fine sherry.
good stuff. Yeah.
Mm,
I
chocolate.
don't want to do a disservice to Original 40, but can we talk a little bit at the end about your departure and kind of where you're headed?
100% all out in the
Perfect.
open,
Okay.
all good
Okay.
vibes.
Yeah, I did. I was Googling and I saw an article that said they were saying goodbye. You were going to have a beer. I'm like, well, if they're doing this, then, it's not anything they're trying to be.
Not
you know.
one, but two
Two.
departure beers.
Two.
Rafiki's Ritual and a beer that we were talking about, Exit Interview.
Exit interview. That's
Yeah.
right. Yep. Cool. All right, let's do this.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Cannonball coming.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons get cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. Now let's get back to the Original 40 Brewing Company.
Original 40 Brewing Company. This is a sprint segment. We're going to try and cover some good ground here, Cosmo. We've got 3 beers we want to give an overview on. 3 beers that we're drinking here, but we didn't want to neglect any of them. We're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up for the Original 40 and the news on what's coming up for Cosmo. So I think we can cover all that. We can do it. We can do it. So the first one we've got here, Brian, would you hand me that can, sir? So not that one, the other one.
Oh, the other
That's
one.
the other one. We can do this. We can do this. All right. So Cosmo, we just enjoyed Ashes from the Grave, which is a smoked brown ale. And those who listen to the show know I'm back. I ride the fence on smoked beers. It can be too smoky for me. I like this. The aroma in this one is really good. You said this is one of your favorites, though, correct?
Yes, this is a beer that I've made 12 times now at 4 different breweries. It started as our Halloween beer at Monkey Paw as a collaboration with Bill Batten from AleSmith. And we've both journeyed around different breweries, but this recipe always follows us. And it won the gold for the smoke category at World Beer Cup in 2016.
Cool.
And we're hoping for similar results on Friday. We've entered it again. And yeah, it's always evolving slightly, but just a really fun beer and a unique beer and something you don't find very often, but it's got a great following.
Now, how much smoke do you like in a beer? Like, how hardcore can the smoke get and it still work for you?
It comes down to the balance. I've made 100% smoked barley wine. We called it a Rauch wine. Where we took 50% smoked base malt and then smoked all the rest of the specialty malts and made a 12% barley wine. And it worked really well. There was a huge malt, huge alcohol, so it was able to take on that smoke. But if you're making Helles, then probably going to reduce that smoke to maybe under 10%.
That makes sense. I have you know that for those that couldn't see him, Brian broke into tears when you mentioned Rauch wine. So
that gif where the guy tumbles out of his chair.
Yeah,
I did
falls backwards and grabs.
Yeah, it's just like when I heard Rauch wine, I've never heard something so beautiful in my entire life.
What was the one we saw last? Munich wine?
Munich wine was something we were looking into.
Are you familiar with?
I'm not. I've seen the hop wine. I've seen Rauch wine. I've never seen a Munich wine.
Yeah, and I forget the exact details on it now, Brian. I think you looked up some of the info, but I think there's only like 2 breweries maybe that have done it so far. But again, we should find all the wine beers and do that.
I love wheat wines. I'm a big fan of barley wines, wheat wines. I really wish they would come back and be hot. Rauch wine, now I'm a fan. I didn't even know it existed. And then Munich wine sounds really cool too. And that seems fairly niche and probably, I don't know, it may have been something dreamed up by a couple of brewers recently. So I don't know if it's
they do
a real deal.
At least it's not another IPA, Brian.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. It's like all you have is these wheat wines and these Rauch wines. How about making an IPA finally? So we should move on to the next one, right? Because we've got a bunch of them.
I think there is some cloud noises.
Cloud noises. We opened that up.
Cosmo Cloud Noises. Tell us about this one.
Rebrew of my first canned beer at Original 40. When I started there, it was during the attempted reopening in the holiday season of 2020. So we knew we had to do some canning, but we also thought we were opening up. And anyway, so came up with this beer. Originally, it was a super thick oat milk hazy IPA. Wanted to come out the gate with just straight juice. And since then have kind of pulled back on things. So reworked this recipe a little bit and made it a little bit cleaner, used mostly cryo in it to get the oils in there without getting too much of the grassiness, and brought the oats back to bring the body down and let it balance out a bit without having to add the bitterness. And just a really nice, approachable beer that's a little different than our flagship Juice Maze. It has more of that melon and kind of sweet dankness as opposed to the big citrus notes of Juice Maze.
Yeah, and that's I got. I don't know that all hops I can identify just boom. Of course, a few, but cashmere is always one that jumps out to me, and I really enjoy the cashmere hop. It presents very well in this one. I mean, it's very upfront, as you mentioned. That it's big in the beer, so I dig this.
Yeah, it's a great one. And if you want to bring back the thick oat milk one, you should have a fog noise or something like that, or fog noises,
cloud
right?
noises, fog noises.
I like it.
Yeah, just something to keep in mind, because I'm always here with the questionable ideas.
Questionable ideas from Brian.
Possibly bad ideas, but
as long as Humble Sea hasn't used it yet, they've used all the fog stuff, but that might be available.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what? Maybe not. If you
and I think Abomination has a couple.
Yeah,
into the fog or something. I have to look.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So there's a lot of fog out there. Yeah,
it's very foggy out there. So
very foggy.
Well, Cosmo, we're going to. Sorry, sir. Go right ahead.
No, go. Like just like you said earlier, if you get sued, if you get a cease and desist, it's great. It's attention. So.
It's gravy, man. It's gravy. It's just free advertising.
It's either going to market us, and you know what? If they decide to press it, we'll just go bankrupt. That's fine. We'll just do what we got to do.
Yeah, this was.
Forget it.
This
too much
is fine.
work.
We'll just
there.
Go on with our life.
So, Cosmo, we're going to use Rafiki's. I'm not quite ready to pour it, but Rafiki's Ritual. I lied. I've actually already poured it. So we're fourth segmenting.
Yes, we are
this time. But tell us a little bit more about what is going on in the future for the Original 40, and then we want to hear about where your personal journey is taking you.
So, Original 40 is finding its stride. It opened right before the pandemic in 2019, had a really great momentum going, and then the world shut down on all of us. I came in, was assisting the guy who was the original brewer. He ended up moving on to cider, and I took over the facility and have really worked with the owner to get it dialed in and focus on what he wants it to be. He knew that beer was great. He liked beer, but he didn't really come from a background of running a brewery or being a regular at breweries. So it's hitting its stride. They'll be announcing their new brewer next week. I've been training him this week, but I won't drop that knowledge yet. Okay. But he has an immense amount of experience. He's a good friend that I actually went to a bachelor party in Vegas with last year. So, and I had no idea. I didn't offer him the job. He applied on his own. So it's in great hands. It's the same kind of theme will continue with low ABV, lagers, diversity of styles, but staying away from some of the more hype-driven beers. Great food, all of that, really, really getting dialed in. Really happy to leave it better than I found it and in a great spot. And I will be moving to Austin this weekend and taking over brewing at Lazarus Brewing Company on the east side of Austin. Brew pub, 2,200 barrels a year, all serving tanks all over the bar. And we're opening another facility in September that'll do twice that capacity with no distribution, same model. So next year I get to make 1.5 million pints of beer and serve them all in-house.
Okay,
so
I was going to say 2,200 barrels.
Forward.
Yeah,
that's a good chunk of beer for a brew pub, or even some of our little small nanos that just do distro. We've talked about it just a few weeks ago, 350, 500 barrels on some of these little guys and that.
So what takes you there? I mean, because San Diego is a pretty cool place, a pretty cool scene. So there's got to be some.
San Diego is an amazing place to come as a beer drinker. As a brewer, it's evolved and it's succeeded, but with that success comes the necessity to give into marketing. You have a lot of people moving around into different businesses and things become cliquey and a big city becomes small very, very quick as well. So there was a little bit of that, which is what originally inspired me to go to Europe. And then after being in Copenhagen and taking it from having very little collaborations within town, no Brewers Guild, any of that kind of thing, and watching it grow to now there's 3 times as many breweries as there were in 2018. They're all collaborating. There's Brewers Guild. There's all of this. Same thing I see happening in Austin. There's a ton of young people with expendable income, tech jobs coming into town. It already has a great entertainment scene and nightlife scene. And there's still a Texas Brewers Guild. There's not an Austin Brewers Guild. So to be able to come in and be part of that, there's a few San Diego brewers that recently moved there. it has the potential as well as keeping all of my needs satiated outside of brewing.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
I
yes.
get that. I get
Absolutely
that. Because,
get that.
you know, we were talking here, as I mentioned to you a little bit earlier, Cosmo, about our beer laws changing, allowing some new things here in Georgia. Some of our OG brewers have been fighting these laws 25 or 30 years, and they made the comment that it was a pain to have to brew under these old laws and live under this, but man, is it sure cool to be here as it's changing and as it's happening, and to be able to be part of that, you know. And we know Austin's got some good breweries. They have a scene happening there, but I could definitely see that having, you know, some good room to build and grow and be part of.
Hey, Live Oak Hef is my daily drinker. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, and just make sure to keep Austin weird. I think that's a requirement.
Yeah.
When you go down there. So awesome.
100%.
Cosmo, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for introducing us to the Original 40 Brewing Company. Best of luck at Lazarus. It sounds like a good adventure. Stay cool, because it's going to be hotter there.
Oh, it's going to get
you
a lot
picked a
hotter.
great time of year to move to Texas.
100%.
So, yeah. So we're going to double down here. If people want to keep up with what's going on with the Original 40 Brewing Company, what's the best way to do that?
Original 40 Beer is our handle on Instagram. Find us on Facebook. Hit up the website. Sign up for the mailing list. Lots of stuff going out on that. Also, if you find me, I'll be connecting the new brewer and my cellarman. They're always posting stuff. But just drop on in. If you're in San Diego, come by.
Check it out. And do you know, I may be asking prematurely, but do you know where to follow Lazarus?
I do not.
I imagine if you look for Lazarus Brewing on the socials,
I'm thinking so.
you can find them.
Yeah, there's not too many of them.
Good stuff.
Should we stock your Instagram account in the meantime? Is that what should
Please.
happen? Okay,
Absolutely.
There we go.
I'll be taking pictures and updating next week. I'm Cos the Brewer, COS the Brewer, all one word. Check me out.
Easy enough.
Excellent.
Cosmo, thanks again. We really appreciate it.
Tim, Brian, have a great evening.
Thank you much. That about wraps it up, Brian, for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show. Join us next week. We're heading to Nebraska to talk to Cross Strain Brewing.
Right.
For more craft beer info, follow us online. We are Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great week. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to drink local. Cheers. We did it.
All right.
Looks
Success.
like we made it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cosmo, thanks, man, and good luck on your travels, your adventure there.
Rafiki
thanks
is
very
the
much.
bomb. That's delicious. And
Yeah,
I didn't get
yeah.
to, because we didn't have time. We were marathoning it. How long did you boil that for?
You know what, Brian? Give me just a
What's
second.
that? Okay.
Cosmo, hang out just a second. I'm going to wrap up here our live stream, and
Do it.
we're going to do a little follow-up with you. Y'all, you at CBC, I hope you have a good time. I'm horribly jealous. But
Yes.
we'll see you next week when you get back, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here. Thanks. Have a good one.